Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I don't know what I'm calling these, but this is just basically talking to other people in the real estate world. And I'm joined by my friend Brenda
Hi.
Villafranco.
Thank
And
you so much for having me on here.
no problem, no problem.
Honestly, this gives me like a year ago feels again. Remember, like I was in a Vegas hotel. I was attending my very first out of state real estate event.
Wow.
And I remember just being like, George, I'm so nervous to get on your podcast. You were like, no worries. I'm nervous too. So I was like, okay, even better. Like
Yeah,
we're both working
exactly.
through this together. And so it was a really good time last year how we talked. And um, not only have I seen your growth, but I've seen different phases of you just gets better and better and better.
Oh,
And
thank
you
you, thank
keep
you.
and like the time that you continue to like elevate, you also are like helping people
Oh,
elevate as well too. And I think that's really awesome to see like your journey as well too.
I appreciate it, Brendan. Like I said, the feelings mutual is kind of he's seeing you grow in the gator world, and kind of like we were talking about earlier, like these it's the same path. It's being able to make a name for yourself and be known, be seen, and sometimes not worry about the what's not there. Or like recently I read a book called The Gap in the Game. How,
Hmm.
like, I'm not trying to be like Pace. I'm not trying to be like Uber. I'm not trying to be like Brenda or Cody Sanchez or somebody. They are racing their own race. And I
Right.
have to appreciate where I'm at right now, to where I may not be at the mountaintop, but if I realize and slow down and look like, oh crap, I've been out of the post office for 3 years. I took the leap of faith, and I appreciate everything around me, and like I said, people like yourself that obviously I follow and see them, you growing, and that okay, there is hope, to where it's not really competition. It's like more like I
An
believe I got this,
encouragement,
huh?
like an encouragement.
Encouragement, but also I remember speaking with Houston Bucket. I think he's working with
Mhm.
Kevin Cho. How, like, he said, man, how this little mofo, he blew up out of nowhere, and so it's more like a feeling of admiration. Oh man,
Right.
Brenda's
Thanks.
doing it, man. I can do it too.
Yeah, no, definitely if I can do it with no real estate experience, I know definitely a lot of people can do it, to be honest. I can testify on that because I didn't know anything about real estate. Like I'm still learning a lot. Even as we speak, I think just the difference is I decided to take action while other people are still fearing
Yes.
not not being able to succeed at it. So the longer you take and keep fear in your head, then the longer you're just delaying what your journey could be.
True, 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 Brenda. And obviously, when we, like I said, when we first spoke, you hadn't done a deal, and like you said, you were at your first out of state event, and you were
Mhm.
taking those leap of faith forward. And I would ask you, from that time to your first deal, what time frame was that, or how did that work out? Or was it just continue to break those barriers, or
I
can you
think right
share?
after yeah, right after our podcast, I wanna say I got my deal a few weeks later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, I got my deal a few weeks later. I was connecting with people and just kind of getting to know their journey and
Mm-hmm.
really just being genuine and be your authentic self. I think honestly I think people overcomplicate things. It's not really that complicated, to be honest. I think if you bring your authentic self and you're genuine enough to really want to help people and really want to see their journey and just be open to where an opportunity may be.
Right.
I feel like being in tune with that, you're it's not it's more simplified than what people make it seem.
True, true, true. And even I like how you say that, Brenda, because it is in the sense of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. It is, we can never get to that stage of, oh man, I finally made it. No, there's always gonna be a battle, but it's being fine in that motion. Or another phrase is, we're either in a storm, leaving a storm, or about to go into a storm.
Do you listen to Stephen Furtick?
He doesn't sound familiar. No.
Okay, well, he has a church in North Carolina. It's
Uh-huh.
called Elevation Church, and like
Nice.
made a point in this sermon one time that really resonated 'cause I thought I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, wow, that's so true." He said, "When there's a storm, the next thing that's gonna come is a blessing. And when there's a
True.
blessing, the next thing that's gonna come is a storm." And I was like,
Yes.
"Wow, that's so true." That's just like life, right? Like there's a
Yes.
storm and you're like, "Oh, dang, I'm going through this." And then there's a blessing. You're like, "Yes, like it's going so well for me." And then there's a storm again. And then it just keeps going. But I think it's just like keeping that perspective of I'll get through it. You know,
Right.
God is with me and he's guiding me through everything, through valleys, through mountaintops. And I think
Right.
that's important to like keep in mind. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. So with that, when you as per se the storm, when you're going through your first deal, what storms or were there any moments of doubt going through it, or
Yeah.
did it seem
A lot.
pretty smooth? What
No.
fears were they?
I think it was more of like the amount, right? I've never wired this amount to someone, especially a stranger. Um, I seen him, like I talked to him on a Zoom,
Hmm.
try to vet him and everything as much as possible. But at the end of the day, like you can't control every situation, right?
True.
There's always
True.
a risk. And so just being able to not allow negative thoughts to like get to me like is this person going to pay me, are they going to default, things
Hmm.
like that. I had to be like no, like you're still in communication with this person, he's showing you progress of like the property. Even doing my first wire, like my hands were shaking, I was like oh my god.
Whoa.
And then like Chase doesn't make it any better because then they like send you all these like, are you sure you want to
Risky.
work this? Yes, it's like a scam. Yeah. So like
Nice.
yeah, so no, definitely I definitely went through the whole
Hmm.
steps of like, is this the right decision?
Hmm.
Am I sure I want to? And then at the end of the day, it's like, who cares? Like I
Right.
did my best to like minimize my risk and I'm going to go with my gut feeling and I'll take the risk. And so at the end of the day, worst case scenario, it would suck to lose money, but it's not the end of the world. And
True.
that's kind of how I've seen it. Like there's people that don't even have $1,000 in their savings account.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's someone always has it worse and I'm still healthy, I'm young, I can always like recoup that. And that's kind of how the perspective I looked at it going into it.
Love it, love it, love it. And as far as is it in a sense like with real estate? Like for me, it's like pounding the phones, bam, bam, bam. I got the deal, and they say yes, and you're still rambling, like, oh, you said yes, like, what's next? And then he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got my first deal, and like, what's next? Like, keep calling, mofo, and let's get the next one. And it
Yeah, yeah.
is it the same thing for you as far as once the EMD went through, and obviously you got your amount from the deal?
Yeah, once I got paid out, I was like, "Okay, like, let me recycle it again." And
Nice,
so that's exactly what I did, but again, it's not like every single deal that comes to me is a good deal.
true,
And so that's one of the things, like, people are just like, "Oh, send me a deal," but, like, not every deal is good. And
true.
I don't just wanna do a deal to do a deal. I wanna actually get to know that person. Like, why do you wanna fix and flip? Like, what's your end goal? And, like,
Yes.
get to know their journey and build those long-term relationships. I don't just wanna do a deal with a stranger and then never do a deal with them again.
Right.
I actually wanna do deals with the same borrowers, really good ones at that. And so that's one of the things I keep in mind. Like, I actually would like to say, "Oh, wow, I'm so proud of funding for this fix and flipper,"
Yeah.
because he really takes pride in what he does, right? And
Right.
so that's really cool to see as well too. And I love the transformation of like bringing something that's been no one would pay attention to and then
True.
transforming it into something so beautiful that people actually want to purchase it.
Exactly, Brendan. I love the phrase that you said. And it's a phrase I stole from one of the guys. He's in Sub2 as well, but he has his own community. JJ Zion is chase the relationship, not the deal.
Yeah.
And so that
Yeah.
that goes so far because it is either you may get screwed or you might think, oh man, I'm gonna get this money. But then you kind of shut off the like say the whole phrase of giving.
Yeah.
You block that blessing because oh man, I'm gonna get this money, I'll be good. But like you're saying, money's not everything. It is the relationship. It is going through the trials and tribulations of possibly failing or losing, but having those channels of communication with you, Brenda. hey Brenda, I understand this deal, it went to craps, but I want to make it up to you. I'm not going nowhere. I want to
Right.
make it up to you, and more than likely that may go farther than the actual deal, and you know this person is legit, and you can actually use him as you can refer him because hey, he did this,
Absolutely.
but he learned from that.
Yeah, no, and it's nice to see that, like, what are your core values, and what is your integrity lined up with my integrity? Like,
Right.
do we share those similar values?
Hmm.
And that's who I want to do business with, is people
Gotcha.
that share those same similarities. And I think that's important.
Okay. And I like how you say that, Brenda, because it is like kind of knowing and where I'm at, it is knowing what are my skills. Like people like to do business with people they like. And
Hmm.
then it's being your, let's say, genuine self to where they see you doing and obviously learning how to maneuver the social media. It is putting everything out there. So I finally understand what George is doing. Or like when you mentioned earlier about possibly knowing one of my high school friends to where
Oh yeah,
she probably seen me like a little. Cause I tell people the first 2 years in high school, I was like a piehead. I thought I was cool. I thought I was a vato and all that
yeah.
stuff. And then I got wised up towards the last two
Mhm.
years. And then but yeah, seeing that version of me, and to where now you tell her, oh, George helps people with houses. I never
Yeah.
saw that, and even my parents, they seen a big difference. But I like to say, God had a lot to do with it because it is coming from that area of not being worthy or not feeling like you're worthy or knowing people tell you you're not this, you're not that, and it doesn't bother you, but secretly it does. So when I'm in this world around people like you, it's like George, you're a closer. Like I am.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
you are a closer.
okay.
No, that's absolutely right. And
Yeah.
it's nice to see, like, you're not only closing deals, but you're helping people. And we were on the phone earlier today, and you were telling me about a situation where, you know, people were getting scammed over their property, and you were
Right.
that one person that gave them hope that, like, there's still good people out there. Like,
Right.
you weren't trying to scam them, you were actually trying to help them, and they
True.
saw that, and I think that was important. And that's something that actually stood out for me, because I'm like, wow, you made someone's day,
Right.
right? So that was really nice.
And but there's also, and thank you for mentioning that, Brenda, because there's also the other side of that sword. I don't know if I shared that one video where the guy text message about his foreclosure and he wanted to call me and I did not say anything. He was like, ah, go to hell, blah blah blah, and I wasn't saying nothing because in my mind I'm like, let that
And
emotion
yeah,
out, vent. And then he was actually getting madder because I was just, what am I going to tell him? And all I
right.
did is text you. And then he hung up. He called me again. Why aren't you answering me? And I was like, why am I going to answer you? Because I have nothing to tell you. You're angry. Get me
Yeah,
off the list. I'm like, okay. Get me off the list. Like, okay. But even after that, it was, I shared it for everybody to show. And I think that's something that we can use social media too, Brenda, not to just show the glory. Like, oh yeah, I did this, and all this. This is the bad part too. Or I have closed, I think, over 20 deals, but I can
mhm.
tell people I probably effed up about 40 of them, but I had to mess up those 40 to get where I'm at now.
In
And
order to get the, yeah, no,
mhm,
absolutely.
mhm,
Yeah, no, same thing here. I mean, even with private money lending deals, right?
mhm,
Like, it could go south, like a flip could go south.
true.
That is a risk,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's where it comes into play with, who are you doing business with, and like, how are they going to handle a situation when something like that may happen? How are they going to react, right? And if it's someone that has integrity, they'll say, "Hey, this is what's happening, but this is what I'm going to try to do with my plan B," right?
Right.
So it's just like the same thing. You have to pivot in business, and you don't just close a deal and it's all like, oh, he closed a deal in a day. No, these are like, they can take up to months,
True.
right? And so it's like, people see like, oh, he closed another one. But like, do you know how long, how many conversations that took you
Right.
to close a deal? And I think it's more like, the more you understand where their pain points were coming from,
Hmm.
here it is for you to be able to help them.
Nice. Yeah, very true, Brenda. And obviously, it's kind of like what you're doing by networking and going to these different events. Is not just only to be seen, but kind of pick up something from somebody. And if I can go on a biblical level, it's like having those divine connections to where
Yeah,
I may tell
absolutely.
you something, but you hear it from another person, and for some reason it clicks. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, no, that's so true. And like I'm a strong believer that God will put people in alignment with you, put people
right,
like in your path and disrupt it and move you to a different path as well too. So definitely a believer in that. And I know that he's literally has guided me this whole entire time
right. He. I
and
know
will
for me,
continue to,
huh?
and will continue to.
Yes, yes. And I know he's just like, I'm pretty sure you have a very great sense of humor, even though you carry yourself very elegantly. But I know you have some quirkiness behind you, and just like God, he's laughing at us like, ah man, this knucklehead. He left the post office. He's doing this, and he's doubting himself. Come on, I left you the kings to the kingdom. Just take them.
Yeah.
And it is going through that trial, but also enjoying it at the same time.
No, absolutely. And like even for you, right? You've made so many connections
Yes.
in the last year and a half.
Hmm.
And you know, definitely, like I said earlier, like I could see your growth, and I think that's wonderful.
Thank you, thank you. And then it is the way I guess, like I explained, the way I'm carrying myself is I like with my partner Mark Anthony. He's like my integrator, and so I get spoiled. Like, bro, when can I add this AI code calling? When can I add this? No, George, you're not ready. You have to set the foundation first. Learn how to track your KPIs. That way, when you make decisions towards your business, you're not emotionally driven because
Right.
at the end of the day, the numbers make sense. So that's something
Yeah.
I'm very learning right now and implementing it in my system.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I love
Mhm.
seeing that. Oh, definitely. What is like one of your goals before the end of the year?
It was I did want I get 28 deals, uh,
Nice.
one rental, and those are my main goals. And to where my year started off pretty slow, to where I ended up having, like, right now I'm at around 7, and it was real slow because I think I was in a hurry. Where, oh man, I want to do multiple deals, but I want to add people to the team. And I want to
Yeah.
do this, and it's like, no, slow down. And where now I'm at 7, but what I like about this year, Brenda, it is tracking by quarters, and I'm not sure about the other numbers, but I did notice like quarter one, I did one deal. Quarter two, I did two deals. And now quarter three, I did four deals. So it goes
Nice.
compound effect to where
Yes,
it is
absolutely.
going.
That's so cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And so now this last quarter, you'll definitely triple
Yeah.
that.
And I'm actually in a process of getting to my one rental goal, which is a situation where the original lead was a foreclosure. Agent was able to try to list it on the market, and it was kind of like battling that like picking your battles where the agent was very guarded, and
Mhm.
she got mad because we had to go around the agent and actually speak with the sellers and explain you have like only 2 weeks left. More than likely, a traditional buyer, if they're not here, they would have been here by now. We have this option where we could possibly, keep the loan in place. We can make those payments on your behalf. We can show up with the money to catch you up on your payments, and more than likely, we're going to use that as rental. And so it was battling because we had to convert our strategy, like you're saying, pivoting, working
Yeah.
with an agent and getting her to trust us. Like you say, from my understanding, she had their intent, they she wanted to protect them as well as we wanted to help. So it's like we were like battling, but luckily we stuck it through to where they ended up paying the arrears, and not everybody's in that position. So luckily they had it, but it turns out like they still wanted to work with us. So today we hopped on a call, and
Mhm.
actually hopped on a Zoom with the agent and the two sellers, and we're going through the Sub2 addendum line by line. I'm like, oh crap. Usually I just send this out, say, hey, just sign here, just sign here. So it was pretty cool going through the process. But luckily my partner, who's very well diverse and understanding the insurance part, it was a great lesson to me to where I told the agent, oh man, I should have recorded this, because the way my partner was able to explain the insurance part and
Mhm.
how there are certain instruments in place that's going to protect both of us from the due on sale clause, to where I think potentially our goal would be to um use it as a wrap to where the 10% that we're gonna ask for a down payment is gonna pay back the seller's arrears, is gonna be able to pay the agent, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna partner up on that wrap to where, God willing, it's gonna be like a $700 cash flow where we're gonna split it. I guess I don't know if we're gonna do a LLC or something like that, but
Honestly. Yeah.
so that'd be like my first.
That is so cool, George.
Yeah,
I'm honestly super happy for you. That's really great to hear.
thank you. And going back to God is like it's on His time. Like, oh man, if I want 28 deals, that means I need so many a month, and it's not happening. Do I give up? No, just keep going, okay? Because we
Going.
don't work.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't work on our time. We work on His time.
that's right. God's
Yes,
timing is always best, honestly.
love it, love it. Well, Brenda, as far as like I said, getting that one deal, as far as what is your goal? As far as are you trying to do like maybe myself, where how can I get one deal a month, and have that system in place, or how does it work for, uh, like I guess your route as far as a
I think
gator?
it's pretty similar, honestly. It's just being able to network enough where you have, either repeated investors,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to like help you scale because they need, they have so many deals in play
Mm-hmm.
that they need you for. And
Right.
it works the same way too. Like, I would love to do, you know, multiple deals in a week and so on and so forth, right? Within a year, to reach a certain number. But essentially, I'm not like fixated on it per se. I just want to be able to be open to the opportunities that
Mm-hmm.
come my way and be intentional with those opportunities as well too. And then
Okay.
the rest, like I just surrender it to God.
Love it, love it, love it, Brenda. And I guess on that note, I guess asking for most people in my position as traditionally a wholesaler, getting acquiring a deal, and eventually changing my mindset next year to where these deals that I'm locking up, how can I bring somebody like Brenda to the plate to where can we either be a private money lender to where either I can structure a deal and obviously learn how to give you a pitch deck. Look, this is
Yeah,
how beautiful it is. It's gonna be this, or it is. Can we be a private money partners to where if you don't mind keeping that money long term, but because you're getting the cash flow each month and it makes sense that you're willing to do that. And so, with that said, how would that work, or how can somebody maybe newer or in my position approach you, or did I kind of answer my own question?
no,
By
I think you did well. I think it's having the
hmm
pitch deck in place, right?
hmm
And just as long as the underwriting has
hmm
it passes, then you shouldn't be able to have a problem with getting a private money lender. If
Gotcha.
the numbers don't lie, so if the
Mhm.
numbers make sense, then there's no reason why you shouldn't have someone that will not fund for
Okay.
you.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And I guess a question I could ask, you being part of you're in sub two, but it's Gator and sub
Yeah.
two are so aligned.
Yeah. I was like, since I'm not in sub two, but I feel like it because I go to all the sub two meetups.
For sure you do. And like Pace mentions it, it's not really a mentorship, it's a community.
That's
And it
right.
is to the point where like, no, you don't have to, pay to get in. Just JV with one of my students like George or like somebody else in the Houston market, and eventually get those deals to where the mentorship will pay itself from the
That's right.
deals.
No, definitely.
And do you think the same it would be the same for the Gator community as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've placed my friend in deals and she's not in the community.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, so it's
Mhm.
not like you have to be part of the community, but
Mhm.
because I'm like that middle ground for her, right?
Right.
I can present her with a deal and she funds it and she
Nice.
makes profit off of it. So it's always nice. Yeah, I bring her and I brought my sister on as well too.
Oh yeah, okay. What's her name?
Cindy.
Sydney. Okay, I was just curious. When I meet people that are either their brother and sister, I always think that the name has to like rhyme. Like
Oh, that's so funny.
my wife, her name is Fallon, and her brother's name's Alan. So it's like,
That's hilarious. Her mom did that on purpose,
I think
definitely.
so. That's the evil thing, and that's me thinking evil too. Like, oh man, you guys have to have matching names.
Yeah.
But I was curious on the obviously EMD, and right now where I'm at right now, I think it's the confidence or the mentors that I'm around, where I'm going straight in. Hey, $10, $10, give me 15 days. The reason I give Brenda is because I'm trying to lock up 10 deals a month, and so I can only have so much spread. And
That's true.
obviously I may not buy all of these, but I do understand where you potentially you can come in where either the seller or the agent is playing hardball, but because if you underwrite it well enough, you know that I can bring in somebody like Brenda for either the
Mhm.
5K. That's what I'm kind of seeing the norm of
Yeah,
5K,
I see.
and then having it, I guess it comes in negotiations, or going out on a couple events, and already like George, I just want to see the proof of concept. Give me 5K
Yeah.
back and maybe one, but later on
Yeah.
you better give me more or something like that.
No, definitely. I've seen like I funded 5K,
Mhm.
7K, 3K. So around that range, like it hasn't really passed 10K for EMDs.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna ask you what was your biggest one, but now you answered the question. No,
Well,
so far
actually, I take
10.
it back. Sorry, I just had a recent one. It was an
Mm-hmm.
18K. So that was the
Oh,
biggest one so far.
oh,
Yeah.
that was, and because that was a larger number, did that get you a little bit more nervous, like the first time, or after a while, it's kind of, I think
After a
everything's
while, you
right.
just yeah, after a while, you just see it like money's just like a number. It's
True,
just
true.
like it's not. I mean, obviously, I still care, but it's not where
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, it's 18K. No, my first deal was 66,000. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it can't get any more nerve wracking than that. I feel like.
True, true. All right, Brenda, and I guess another question I do have, because I was asking a couple people, hey guys, I'm about to interview Brenda, and I seen her from here to where she's at now. Because I do see a lot of Gators struggling, and I won't put out their names, but like George, I don't understand, man. I'm finding the opportunities. I meet this Gator, and when it comes time to push the button, either they go ghost or they, oh, I don't really have the money. To where I think in a sense that's what we face on my end as a wholesaler. To where, like, George, are you direct to seller or are you daisy chaining? How many people are involved in this deal? So what do you think? That's the same thing that goes on with the Gators sometimes.
I think a lot of the time people try to just jump the gun without really getting to know that person. And so
Okay.
let's just say they had one conversation with them and they gave them their lending box.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, they probably wrote it down. So whenever they got a deal, they're like, hey, I have a deal. And they're like, okay, they kind of get excited, but then they're like, wait, I'm not ready for my first deal.
Yes. Oh,
I
okay.
don't trust this person completely
Mm-hmm.
yet. And I think it's just a matter of getting to know someone, really. I mean, that's where the trust factor comes in.
True, true. Okay, I like that answer. So, I guess to add to that, would that be the same advice you would give somebody like per se like yourself, or you're like, man, I'm trying to get my first deal, Brenda's Gator. What advice do you have for me?
I would say make sure you JV with someone and collaborate with them so that they can take you through the steps to make sure that your money is secure and safe.
Love it, love it. And it goes back to what you said earlier. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. So the
Yes.
same thing on the wholesaling side. Just JV somebody that can
Yeah,
walk you through it, and you don't mind spreading the wealth or sharing the wealth,
absolutely.
because yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to do deals by myself anyways. I like to just collaborate with other people.
Nice, nice. Cool, cool, Brenda. Yeah. So as far as the question you asked me, have you reached your goals for the year, or do you have any that you're still trying to tap into?
Maybe probably a few more deals, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
3 to 5 more deals before the year's over would be
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
I would love to do a double close. I had one and it fell through, but I'm gonna move forward and see. It's double close will come in its timing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And what do you think? What are the benefits of closing for you, other than and we know it's not really about the money, but what does a double close help out in a wholesale transaction per se?
Well, for a couple of reasons, some states don't allow it. Like they don't allow some of the wholesalers don't want to see this, don't want the sellers
Mm-hmm.
to actually know what they're making on their assignment fee,
Okay.
which I find kind of funny just because like if someone's helping me sell my house, I don't care what you're making
Right.
as long as you're selling it at the price point that I want it.
True, true. Okay,
Yeah, so I think it's just I think it goes back to, like, mentality though, right?
true. It is. It,
Like, if you told me, "Hey, Brenda, I'm gonna make XYZ," I'm
mhm,
gonna be like, "Cool, George. I'm happy for you."
mhm. Or learning how to say it in a way, and I think, like I say, it's overcomplicating it. And like Paige teaches us, like, quit voice vomiting. It is saying, "Hey, Brenda, I can actually help you. I can buy your house, but I need X amount of days, and I need do it this way because I need enough time to bring my lending partners in to look at the property, make sure that the numbers make sense, and we can make this deal happen." A lot of
I like
people don't pick up on that. Like, I just told you, I'm wholesaling it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
bringing in
yeah.
a lending partner.
No, it's I right? You just made a very clear point. It's all in the communication and how you present it, right?
True,
Yeah.
true, true. Man, good stuff, Brenda. Well, like I said, it is appreciating you, and I say just having the admiration of, even on a feminine level. Like when I meet a certain female, oh, I can't do it, George. I have this, I do. Man, look at Brenda. She's kicking ass and she's making it happen. So, not saying it's not nothing. And I think it is coming to mindset, but also being able to be either humble enough, or also, like I was sharing with that video I shared with Lance about givers. When a giver's with a giver, you kind of elevate each other. But when a giver's with a taker, it's like they drain you. It's
They
like, oh
drain
man.
you.
But
Yeah, no,
I'm a
definitely.
sucker. I'm a sucker for that, Brenda. Like, oh, I have hope for this person. Come on. But I am draining myself to where, that's why I think so important. Even though I don't go in person like I used to, but I love watching my church, Lakewood, in the morning at 8:30. Get out the way and like get those stories of faith and inspiration, to where it
Yeah,
slowly gets rid of all that negative stuff that I was fed as a child. And nothing against my parents, to where I can be at a mature state now that to say that they did the best they could with what they had, and now it's up to
mhm.
me to, be that chain breaker. Like, if
Yes.
alcoholism's in the family, it stops here.
It
I'm gonna
starts
do
with that one
this.
person, and that one person is you. No, definitely.
Right.
That's so true.
Nice, nice, Brenda. Well, I think we covered everything. And do you have anything else to say to somebody that may be watching this and like, oh man, how can I be like Brenda?
Just
How can
start.
I just
Just
start?
start and take action. That's it. That's it.
Love it, love it.
There's nothing extremely special about me. There's nothing it's just a matter of me taking action and, like, doing the work.
Gotcha. Love it.
Yeah,
Put in one foot in front of the other one, right?
that's right. That's
Okay.
absolutely right. Hey, you know what? We should have another one in a year.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be
And
our
then, that
second.
that is what that is one of my goals too. Just like you're doing and meeting other people outside of Houston,
Uh-huh.
I plan to do that here with even though Squad Up Summit is going to be in Dallas,
Dallas.
even though
Yeah.
that's not outside of Houston, but it is taking those baby steps. Because, like I
Yeah.
said, the more people know you and they know what you're doing, then that's when the money can come in. Like Pace teaches us, like being a capital raiser is one of the best skills, and I think that'll be my next level up.
Yeah.
It is gaining people's trust, but showing them the proof of concept. Hey, this is the operator. He's
That's
done
right.
so many deals. He's done this, and here goes the money.
Yeah.
Let's do some magic together.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brenda. Obviously, like I say, working with each other's schedules, and I appreciate you being flexible. And
Yeah,
I look forward
likewise.
to seeing more growth. And there's only one way up. You can't look
That's right.
down.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Likewise, likewise. Well, I'll just stop this recording, and we can bid everybody goodbye and thank you very much. And if you need to connect with Brenda, I see she's got her email on here, and you can reach out to me however way you want to. And